Today's story is about 5 Kansas City Chief fans living in Kansas City, Missouri, and how a night of celebrating their favorite football team's victory led to a horrific discovery. This story is fairly new and is still developing, so I'm sure new details will emerge in the very near future. Hello, strangers and strangelings. Welcome back to the Strange Bar and Grill. I'm serving up another true crime story time. Right now, I'm just drinking on some whiskey, not saying the brand name because I'm not getting paid to promote. So it's just generic whiskey to you, and it puts me right where I need to be. So pull up a chair if you like strange true crime and storytelling, then this is the place to be. Here with me, JP. So kick back and grab a drink or a snack, and remember to always tip that like button because it helps with the channel. Join that SBG family by subscribing and hitting that notification bell to make sure you're getting notified when I release a weekly video. And remember, I've been drinking, but I ain't been driving. All right, let's go. Is there a crime here? David Harrington, Clayton McGeeney, Ricky Johnson, and Alex Weimer went to their friend Jordan Willis's house to watch the Kansas City Chiefs football game on January 7th. Now, for my viewers outside the US, I'm referring to American football, and I won't get into that whole football soccer thing, but you guys can fight it out in the comment section if you want. But they had a great time watching the game. Probably slammed some beers, ate some chicken wings, and real chicken wings too, not those boneless bullshit ass wings. Those are called nuggets with sauce, and you can fight me on that one if you want to. It will go down. Anyway, the Chiefs defeated the Los Angeles Chargers at SoFi Stadium 13-12. So I'm pretty sure they were happy and amped up and decided to do a little partying. And that's exactly what they did. They stayed up partying and maybe had a little party favors as well. Alex had enough partying and left Jordan's house at around 12:01 a.m. And I'm not sure where they got that detail that it was exactly 12:01 a.m. and not just like 12. But apparently at exactly 12:01 a.m., this brother's feet were outside, crossing that threshold, hitting that porch apparently. Anyway, when Alex left, the remaining 4 friends were all up watching a rerun of Jeopardy. And that sounds like a hell of a fun party right there, watching Jeopardy. Jordan would then later go to his room. He would pop in his earbuds, turn on his fan, and go to sleep at around 12:30 a.m. while his 3 friends were still in the house. The next day, however, neither of the men's families could get a hold of them. Calls and text messages went unanswered. Everyone just kind of figured that, since the Chiefs won, so they probably partied a little harder than usual and maybe crashed at Jordan's house. But by noon, there was still no word from Clayton, Ricky, David, or Jordan. Something just seemed off. Something was clearly wrong here. Early in the morning of January 9th, 2 days after the game, both April Mahoney, Clayton's fiance, and Ricky Johnson's mom, Norma Chester, texted Alex, the friend that left around midnight, and they asked him where his friends were. Alex explained that he left around midnight and he last seen them at Jordan's house and they were up watching Jeopardy. Alex immediately texted Jordan on his phone, and he also sent him a message via Facebook to see what was happening, but Jordan never responded. So later on that night, about 7 p.m., a close friend of the guys, a person by the name of Dakota Latier, pounded on Jordan's door for about 20 minutes and got no response. And they finally got frustrated and just turned around and went home, which is bizarre because all of their vehicles were parked outside. Clearly they were still there. Then April Mahoney came by 2 hours later. She also noted that the cars were all still parked in front of Jordan's house. And April was so desperate to find her missing fiance, Clayton McGeeney, that she took matters into her own hands. She pounded like she was the damn police for like 10 minutes on Jordan Willis's door, but got no response. She said, screw this, and she broke in through a basement window. And then when she got in, she yelled to see if anyone was around in the house, but she got no response still. She walked around through the rooms downstairs and didn't see anyone. Finally, she walked upstairs, looked out a large back window, and saw something horrific. While looking out that back window, April first spotted a frozen body of one man. It was David Harrington. He was seated upright in a lawn chair. She was so upset at first that she initially didn't see that her fiance was also dead on the ground beside a third man, Ricky Johnson, who was also dead. But where was Jordan, the owner of the house? What the hell is going on here? April was panicked and almost couldn't breathe, but she managed to call the police. The cops showed up within 10 minutes, and when they got there, they knocked on the door, and finally, Jordan opens the door with no problem. He's wearing his boxers, and he's just holding this empty wine glass. Like all was well, like everything was going fine. Jordan was handcuffed briefly, but released without charge because cops said there was just no evidence of foul play. But how could this be? How could 3 men die seemingly simultaneously in the snowy backyard while Jordan, their host, said he'd been sleeping for 48 hours with the fan on, listening to music in his earbuds, and had no idea that his buddies had died in full view of the house? Well, the temperature in the backyard in the early mornings of January 8th, when the men died, was just about freezing, and preliminary toxicological reports indicated that the men died from the effects of cocaine and fentanyl. Reports shown that the bodies contained 3 times the amount of fentanyl needed to kill someone. And this shit just sounds just like an episode of Breaking Bad, or was that the other one, Ozark? So here's a little background on Jordan. Jordan Willis has a PhD from Vanderbilt University as an HIV vaccine researcher. He worked both at the International AIDS Vaccine Initiative's Neutralizing Antibody Center in La Jolla, California, and I probably said that wrong. The J's probably silent in that, but hey, we're doing what we can do here. And from his native Kansas City. His academic resume includes 55 published papers, 5 times the academic output of ex-Harvard president Claudine Gay, and an award from the Scripps Consortium for HIV/AIDS for his contribution to the development of an HIV vaccine. But him and his friends, they all met at Park Hill High School a mile away, and they had more blue-collar jobs. McGeeney worked construction, and Harrington was a flooring contractor. Some friends and family members have commented to each other and the media that Jordan might have cooked up something a little extra in the drugs that the men took that night. Allegedly. Let's just sprinkle some allegedly on this whole video because all this shit is developing. And according to a family member of Clayton, a bunch of people reached out to Clayton's sister and told her that Jordan was known as the chemist in high school. They said he would go to parties and he would make people feel good with the drugs that he enhanced. But it's unclear if he actually concocted something or not that night. Mrballen, the former chief medical examiner for New York City, who has investigated numerous high-profile deaths, told the Post that it would be unlikely for 3 people taking drugs to die at the same time. But it wouldn't be unusual for 3 people to pass out at the same time. They usually pass out and sleep it off, but if you pass out in the cold and snow, the body temperature falls so quickly that often people are dead within an hour, Bodden said. According to reports, Jordan Willis has checked himself into rehab, calling the deaths of his friends an enormous wake-up call. And the police have stressed that the case is not being investigated as a homicide and that no foul play is suspected. However, some think that Jordan played a role in their deaths. But what do you all think? Did Jordan try amping up the drugs by mixing fentanyl in it? And why didn't Jordan meet a similar fate if he was doing the same drugs? I mean, he did sleep for 48 hours. I don't know what's going on. There's so many questions and no answers quite yet. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today. If you guys like the story, then leave a like and a comment. If you're new to my channel, then consider subscribing and joining that SBG family. And remember, I've been drinking, but I ain't been driving. And until next time, be safe, be good,